Okay, so this is going to be the video for Chapter 1, Section 4. It's translating words into math. In the book, there is this picture, and it's just telling you that all of these words are telling you certain things, so you have to watch out for them, okay? The one that I want to point out first is whenever it's talking about a number. So if ever you see a number, that is a number that we don't know. Therefore, we represent it with a variable. Sometimes they'll tell you which variable to use. Other times you get to decide. So watch out if they say a number W is whatever, you need to use W as your variable. If they don't, you get to decide. Okay, so I'm just gonna go over a couple of things on this paper with you guys. You'll notice like a number, all the way down. So whenever we see that, that's when they're talking about their variable. Now, you guys don't have to write this in your notes. However, you do have to write this in everything that I write from here on out. When we see addition, there are a couple of words that you need to keep in mind. Obviously, the first one is going to be add. Now, if you look at it, it says add 3 to a number. If you're adding something to something else, then it's going to be at the end. So watch for that, at the end. So over here, you have a number. In order to add something to, you already have to have something there. So that's where our number comes from. So add 3 to a number, it goes to the back. Now we have the word plus. So a number plus 3, that's just straight across. You have your variable, and then you're adding 3 to it. The sum is going to be addition. And this one's cool because it says, hey, we're gonna add, and then it tells you the two things to add to. The first one that it tells you will be in the front of the sign. The second one will be behind it. So the sum of a number, which is their variable, and 3. So when it says and, it's pushing you over to the other side of that sign. 3 more than a number. So if ever you see more than, same thing like add. You have to have something before you can have more than it. So this one's also going to be at the end. You kind of have to think a little bit backwards, okay? So 3 more than a number. And then we also have the word increased. A lot of times it's actually increased by. Okay, so those are our addition words that we want to watch out for. We have subtraction words, and the same thing is going to happen. Sometimes it's going to be at the end. Now, it's not as critical in addition because addition has that commutative property where it doesn't matter which way. I think in your ALEKS program, though, it will mark it wrong if it says like 3 more than a number and you try and do 3 plus a number. I'm not 100% sure. I'll need to check on that, but just watch and make sure that if it's putting it at the end, you put it at the end. Subtraction, you have to put it in the right order or else you're wrong. So on this first one, it says subtract 12 from a number. So we'll put subtract, and that's one that's going to work at the end. You have to take away something, you have to subtract from something that you already have. So that's why it kind of works backwards. We also have the word minus, which is just normal, like a number minus 12. So that's going from left to right. We do difference. The difference of a number and 12. So this is kind of like sum. We know we're subtracting. Whatever comes first will be in front of our sign. Whatever comes next will be after our sign. So the difference of a number and 12, so that's what brings us over to that other side. So watch for that. Less than is like our more than. It's going to be at the end. Less than at the end. A number decreased by 12. That's nice because it just goes left to right. So decreased by. Take away 12 from a number, so that one's going to be at the end too. You have to have something in order to take something else away from it. So take away is at the end. It's a little bit backwards. And then they have a number less 12. I rarely, if ever, see anything written like that. So know it because you're going to see it in this lesson. And realize that that is different than less than. There has to have this less than in order for it to go to the end. Otherwise, use less like minus. Okay? So, a number minus 12. Use those interchangeable. Okay? Unless it has a then. That's different. All right. So now, let's do some multiplication. Multiplication is like addition in the fact that it doesn't matter which way is which. What's nice is whenever you have a variable, it's typically going to be found behind your number. So multiplication, we have the word times. We have the word multiplied by, and we have the word product. Now, same thing here, it'll tell you the order that it wants. The product, so we know we're multiplying, right? So if I use that little x that we're trying to get away from, then we're saying we're multiplying 2, which would come right here, and a number, which would go in the back. They use m, so I'll use m. So some of these that tell you what's happening first, those will tell you what's happening, and then it'll tell you the order that they need to go on. All right, let's do divide. The words that we want to watch out for when we're dividing would be divided into. And that one's going to work backwards. That one's going to be at the end. We also have divided by. So a number divided by 6. So that's straight across. And the only difference between those is divided into and divided by. So make sure you realize that this one is backwards and this one is just working like normal. And then we also have, it'll say the quotient, which is saying, hey, I'm going to divide. And then it'll tell you the two things that it wants you to divide. In this case, it's saying the quotient of a number. So that's going to be our variable. They use the letter A and 6. So the quotient of a number and 6. So 6 is going to be on that opposite side. Let's go ahead and do a couple. I'm going to write them down and then we'll make them into their expression. So we are taking a phase. Sorry. We're taking a phrase and writing it as an expression, not a phase. Okay. The product of 20 and t. So that's how I do my and signs. Sorry if that's confusing to any of you. There's your warning. All right, so we have this phrase. Now let's make it into an expression. I know I am multiplying because of this right there. So I am taking my product. So I'll use the dot actually. So we have a dot. The first thing comes in front. So this is what's listed first. So I'm going to put it in front. And t, so t is next. If I wanted to change that to just 20t, I can. And it means the same thing. So there's one. Let's do another one. Let's say, sorry, I'm kind of running out of space here. So I'm going to cut it off. 24 less than number. Okay, so 24 less than. I know I am subtracting. I am taking 24 away from, because it's less than, a number. So that's my variable. That's what I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and use x for that. So I have a 24 less than a number. You guys are going to try a couple of them. right here, and then we'll come back for some more instruction.